Hey guys, welcome back to a new video by Biology Reproduction. So today we got another new past year paper, which is the Cambridge IGCSE Biology, the paper 2 multiple choice extended May-June 2024, paper 2 variant 2. So the same thing as our previous videos, that any questions you can always keep in the comment section below and I will try to respond it as soon as possible. So let's do it for this paper. Alright, question number 1. Which process is carried by all organisms? So this is again from chapter 1. So we are trying to see whether it has met the Mrs. Grant requirement, which you know is movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. So let's see. So A, yes, there's growth, there's no photosynthesis is not, sexual reproduction is not, and transpiration is not. So the answer is A. Question 2. What is the first part of the scientific name of an organism using the binomial system? When they tell you what is first part, it means like, for example, I have this bacteria name as Bacillus cereus. So they say the first part is this part. So what is this part called? It's known as the genus. Okay. The next question. Question 3. The diagram shows a plant cell. In which label part of the cell is glucose made? So glucose is a product from photosynthesis. So it's very important that you need to know where is glucose being made. So the only place it is the chloroplast. So B is the correct answer. Question 4. The diagram shows an epidermal cell from an onion plant. Distance between X and Y is 60 mm and the actual length of X and Y is 150 micrometer. What is the magnification of the cell? So for this question, we have to convert the 60 mm into micrometer and we use the formula, okay, as IM. So we want to find the magnification, so we just need image over the actual. Alright, so we will convert. So for image, we have to change to micrometers. So you're going to get 60,000. Should be 60 times 1,000. So you're going to get 60,000. 60 times 1,000 divided by 150. So divided by 150, you're going to get 400 times. So the answer is C. So use this formula. This formula has always been helpful and it's very easy to derive what you want to find. Okay, question 5. Some plant cells are placed in distilled water for 1 hour. So this is me trying to link to you that this is osmosis in plants. Okay, so how does the turgidity works, whether it is able to withstand the water pressure. So which description of the condition of the plant cell after 1 hour is correct? So for example, the plant, right, let's see, we have this particular cell, okay, so there's something like this, and it's placed on the water like that. So when you submerge inside, right, you know that it also has a cell wall. So what happens 1 hour is that water will enter into the plant cell. So what will happen? So the answer for this, it becomes turgid. So why is it turgid? Is because the plant cell wall, which is this one, is able to withstand the amount of water that is being taken in, so that it won't cause the cell wall to easily burst or the entire cell to burst on its own, unlike the animal cells. So that is the correct answer. Question 6. So which diagram represents active transport? So you use back from your understanding of the definition is that it's going against the concentration gradient. So it's always from lower to higher concentration gradient. So let's see for each of the option. Question A. They say for part A, for option A, you can see that it's going from a lot of molecules to low molecules. So the first one is not correct. For B, you can see from the left-hand side, there's lesser amount of molecules and there's more amount of molecules and it responds to requires energy. So this is correct. But let's see for C and D. For C is using high from a lot of particles to a site with a lower particle and it does not require energy. This is wrong because for active transport, it needs ATP or it needs energy. And then for D, you can see it's from lower to higher. This is correct from the image, but this is not correct. It should be needing the ATP or the energy. So the answer is only for B. Now let's see question number 7. So question 7 gives you a bases in a section of DNA from one strand only. So what is the base sequence on the complementary DNA strand? So remember that T is with A, C is with G. So let's try to fill in. So for A, what does it bind? It binds with T. What does C bind? It binds with G. T binds with A. This is also A. This is G. This is T. This is C. A. G. So let's see which one has the correct one. So you can see TGAA, GTCAG. So TGAA, GTCAG. So the answer is D. Okay, so it's very simple. Question 8. The graph shows the effect of pH, okay, on the rate of an enzyme catalyzed reaction. So you can see from here the pH they have given you, or the graph that has been indicated is more of the basic side. Basic means at the alkali area. So let's see explain the effects of the pH of the reaction rate. For option A, they say as the pH increases from 5 to 7, kinetic energy increases. This is a wrong statement. Why? Because kinetic energy only responds to temperature. Okay? So for option A is wrong. Option B, as pH increases from 7 to 9, so you see 7 to 9 is basically here. This is the optimum, 7 is the optimum, but after 7 to 9, it says the frequency of the enzyme and substrate collision is increases. So this is wrong because you can see the rate of reaction is going downwards, so it's supposed to be decreases. And option C, the shape of the enzyme active site changes as the pH increases from 7 to 9. This one is correct. So we see for the last option, the substrate denatures at pH 7. No, it did not, because it is at its optimum. So this one is optimum. This is the wrong term. So the answer is C. Question 9. Which sentence explains the importance of vascular bundle for photosynthesis? So let's see. Vascular bundle, remember there is two. There's xylem and there is phloem. So for option A, vascular bundle transport carbon dioxide to the leaf. No. And vascular bundle transport oxygen to the leaf. No, it is not also. Vascular bundle transport starch to the leaf. Okay, this one sounds a little bit not right, but let's see the last one. They say that vascular bundle transport water to the leaf. This is correct. So let's see, why is C a little bit not correct? So because of this term starch. We know that phloem, they can actually transport sucrose, but sucrose is not in the form of starch. Remember, there are two different constituents. So it's very important that you know that starch is not sucrose. And only phloem can transport sucrose and the amino acids. And xylem, they only can transport water and the mineral ions. So therefore, C is not the correct option, and that leaves with D. And the only vascular bundle, or the specific vascular bundle that can undergo to transport water, is the xylem. So question 10. Which substance is the product of protein digestion? So protein, we use proteases. So what does it break down into? It breaks down into amino acids. So the answer is A. Question 11. So which organ produces amylase? So amylase is the enzyme that helps to break down starch into maltose. And where can you find amylase in? So you can find this, let's see for each of the options. So for gallbladder, you don't see any enzyme being secreted at the gallbladder. Kidney, nope, you don't remember there is any enzymes that is secreted there. The esophagus, are there? No. So esophagus is more for it's like a tube that helps to bring down the food from the mouth into the stomach. Pancreas, yes, pancreas is the only good option that has amylase. So the answer is D. Question 12. Which substance is absorbed by lacteal in the villi? So you know that villi is shaped like this, and then it has 1, kind of like a stick in the middle, and then a bunch of veins, capillaries. Okay, so in the middle, that thing is called as a lacteal. Lacteal is mainly for fatty acid transportation, so the answer is only B. Question 13. The diagram shows part of the alimentary canal. So state where is the most water being absorbed. So for this one, you have no choice but to remember or memorize from the notes that you have read. So the only one is the small intestine. You'll be wondering, why not the large intestine? Large intestine, they do absorb water, but the amount of water, the volume of water being absorbed is more to the smaller intestine than the larger intestine. So that's important, that you should know that the smaller intestine, they absorb high amount of water, and for the large is only smaller amount of water. Okay, so now let's look at question 14. So the diagram shows a cross section of the villi. So you are seeing on the top view actually of the xylem here. So I mean the villi, you're looking down from here. So now they say that on which cell surface are microvilli from? Okay, so let's analyze a bit. What is this? So you can see that the lacteal is located at the center, and you can see that the epithelium is surrounding that. So where can you see a lot of these things? So first thing, it has to be on the top of the cell. Okay, it has to be on the surface. So where is the part that you can see there is surface? For A, it cannot be, because A is capillaries. For C, it's more, you have never learned this, so you can definitely know that that is not the correct answer. For B, this is the lacteal. It cannot be found inside, so it has to be found on the surface of the villi, which is only D. That's where inside here there is more tiny microvilli. Okay, now let's go to question 15. Which features of xylem vessels, okay, provide support to the plant? So let's see for each of the option. Cells are joined end to end. No, joining end to end, it can be, but then it does not help to support the plant. Okay, but it has no cell contents. Not really, because although it's dead, it does not mean that it helps to support the plant. For C, there's no crosswalk. That doesn't make sense. No crosswalk. This doesn't make sense at all. But lignin present is the one. So lignin is always a dead material. Whenever you see that xylem, it has lignin, right? It means that this structure is completely, really tough to be broken down into very smaller pieces. So it becomes a very good source of material to support the plant, allow it to stand upright all the time. So that is the answer, which is where there is lignin present. So which change in an environment factor will increase the rate of transpiration? So let's see for each of the options. So first thing, they say A, decreasing humidity. So this answer is correct, but let's see what the others are. Option B, decreasing light intensity. No, because the more light is provided to the plant, of course the plant can undergo photosynthesis even more, and then the rate of transpiration is also higher because the sun is so hot, it's absorbing water by evaporation. So that's the reason why decreasing light intensity, it does not increase the rate of transpiration. The next one, decreasing temperature, is almost the same thing as light intensity. When it becomes colder, less likely water will come out. Alright, so the last one is decreasing wind speed. That I think it also makes sense that if there's lesser wind, it means that lesser water is coming out from the stomata. So wind speed is out. So humidity is the only one that is going against light intensity, temperature, and wind speed. We always think that the higher the temperature, it means that the higher rate of transpiration. But if it's humidity, it means that when there's lower humidity, okay, the rate of transpiration is higher. So the answer is A. Question 17. So which statement describes translocation? Let's read. Alright. So the movement of amino acids and sucrose from the source to the sink in phloem. Sounds correct. The movement of amino acids and sucrose from the source to sink in xylem. This is correct, but this term is wrong. It's supposed to be phloem, so B is wrong. The movement of amino acids and sucrose from the sink to the source in the phloem. This is also correct for this, but not correct for this statement. It has to be the other way around, because where is sucrose being made is from the products of photosynthesis that will be converted from glucose into sucrose later on. So it's all coming from the leaf itself that it produces after photosynthesis. So this is wrong. The movement of amino acids and sucrose from the sink to the source in xylem. So this is also wrong, where both of these options are, both of these terms that's been used are wrong. So the answer is A. So question 18. Which pathway is taken by blood in a fish? So the answer for this one, you had no choice but to remember, because fish is a single circulatory system. So it only goes back to the heart once. So this is the only option that has the complete one-time circuit. So which is C. Question 19. Which component of blood produces antibodies? So antibodies, you know, is produced from lymphocytes. Lymphocytes, they are a type of white blood cell. So the answer is D. Question 20. The cholera bacterium produces a toxin which affects human. What is an effect of this toxin on the human body? So let's see each of the option. The secretion of chloride ions from the blood into the lumen of the large intestine. So this first part of the sentence is correct, but this one is wrong. Remember, cholera bacterium, the toxin that is being produced, it always acts on the epithelium walls of the small intestine. Because remember, small intestine, they absorb the most water. So whenever the toxin has been activated, right, what happens is that the body is unable to absorb water from the basically the lining from where it comes out from the stomach, for example. So what happens that this toxin will add is that it creates a change in that osmolarity gradient, allowing more water to instead come out from the intestine rather than being absorbed into it. So that's why this answer is wrong. The secretion of chloride ions from the blood into the lumen of the small intestine. So this one is correct. For others, these are all wrong, because it's not into the blood, is from the blood to the lumen of the small intestine. So the answer is B. So question 21. These changes occur in the human body during exercise. So what is the correct order for these changes? So first of all, your body, right, it always have to detect what happens, because our body is undergoing respiration all the time. So the rate of respiration, firstly, they will increase. So what happens after when rate of respiration increases? Your receptors in the brain will detect increased concentration of CO2, because more CO2 is coming out. Okay, so this is the second one. So 2, 4. The next one, it will be the nerve impulses sent from the brain to the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm. So this is the next one. Then only breathing rate increases, because oxygen that occurs, you want to keep on breathing in to ensure more oxygen comes in to replace the carbon dioxide. So the correct sequence is 2, 4, 3, 1. Question 22. 2 glucose molecules are aerobically respired. So how many molecules of water are being produced? So this is a bit challenging. But first of all, let's write down the equation. So we have C6H12O6 plus 6O2. So you're going to get 6CO2 plus 6H2O. Now the question asks, what happens if there is 2 molecules of glucose used? Means it has 2 C6H12O6. So you have, if you use your chemistry, right, you can see that you have 6 oxygen, okay, 6 O2. Later we have to rewrite everything again. 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O. So when you start to times 2, these all times 2 together. So everything here is times 2. You're going to get 12 O2, 12 CO2, 12 H2O. So it's basically this one times 2, everything. So you're going to get your answer as 12. So question 23. Which substance has a higher concentration in the renal vein than in the renal artery? So the easiest answer is carbon dioxide, because vein, vein, they carry deoxygenated blood, meaning it's carbon dioxide. So the answer is A. Question 24. Where are amino acids deaminated and converted into urea? So this one, again, you got no choice but to know this, which is the liver. Question 25. Which process move neurotransmitters across the synapse? So this is only diffusion, right? And question 26. When the blood glucose concentration is low, which hormone is released and which organ releases it? Alright, so let's picture this scenario. In the bloodstream, okay, and then let's take example, this is the organs and it has a tubing into it. Okay, so what happens is that now inside the bloodstream there is lesser blood glucose. Okay, let's say blood glucose concentration drops. So what happens is that your body will detect that there is a lower blood glucose concentration in the body. So there's only two hormones that we have studied, which is insulin and glucagon. So the role of the insulin is to lower the glucose levels in the blood. For glucagon is to increase the glucose level in the blood. So now, the scenario now is that in the bloodstream, there's already lower glucose. And how can you restore back to normal is by increasing the glucose concentration. So which of the hormone helps to do so? Which is the glucagon. So glucagon is the correct answer. So we can eliminate C and you can eliminate D. Now, which organ releases them? So it's very important that you need to know where is it being produced. A lot of times people think it's the liver. So unfortunately, it's not the liver, it is the pancreas. So the answer is B. Pancreas is the one that secretes a lot of our hormones and also enzymes. So it's very important, liver does not do that. Okay, so now let's move on. Question 27. A shoot grows towards the direction of light. These statements compare shoot cells on the site in the light with cells on the site in the shade. So which statement explains why the shoot grows towards the light? So let's see. So cells on the site in the light have more auxin. Okay, this is correct. So the next one is that the cells on the site in the shade have more auxin. No, because it goes to the site with more auxin. Cells on the site in the light elongate more. Wrong. Cells on the site in the shade elongate more. So this is the correct one. So the answer is 1 and 4. So let me know if you're still confused with this question. Just comment in the comment down section below and I will respond immediately. So which statement about antibiotics is correct? So antibiotics are used to treat all transmissible diseases. So this is wrong. Antibiotics are used to treat diseases caused by a virus. This is also wrong. It should be bacteria. Antibiotics resistance can be stopped by increasing their use. This is definitely wrong. It should be decreasing their use. Antibiotics are used to treat diseases that are caused by bacteria. Yes, this is the correct answer. So the answer is D. Fusarium wilt is a fungal disease of bananas that can spread quickly through a banana population. The table shows that the area affected by Fusarium wilt over time in one country. So what is the percentage change in the area with Fusarium wilt from 1976 to 1999? So you can see that they want the percentage increase. So of course, let's do our calculation. Alright. From 1976 to 1999, okay. Alright, so how are you going to solve this one? So percentage increase is always by using final minus initial divided by initial times 100. So you want to get this value and this value, and you find the percentage increase. So it will be 3000 minus 1200 divided by 1200 times by 100. So the answer is 150%. So the answer is C. Alright, question 30. The diagram shows part of a flower. So which processes have taken place? So you can see that the pollen tube has actually grown, and then there is already something already sticking onto it. So what has taken place? So the answer is C. So why is it C? Because pollination takes place because the stigma actually lands on here. I mean, the pollen actually lands on the stigma, but the pollen tube did not go inside the micropyle of the ovary yet. So what happens if this not happen? It means that there is no fertilization happening. So the answer is just yes and no. Question 31. The diagram shows part of the placenta and umbilical cord. So what is the function of the umbilical vein? So the umbilical vein, of course, it sends back all those top waste materials back. So let's see what is the answer. So to stop pathogens passing into the fetus, so this is wrong. To stop toxins passing into the fetus, this is also wrong. To transport carbon dioxide away from the fetus, this is wrong. To transport oxygen to the fetus, this is correct. So the answer is D. So you know why? It's because the vein, right, is actually going into the umbilical cord. So you know that it's going from this direction to this direction. So it means that oxygen is actually coming in instead of going out. So it's very important that you see the direction. The direction here is for the towards the artery. So instead, when it goes back into the bloodstream, it means that they are sending the waste materials back instead. Okay? So now let's go to question 32. The graph shows how the mass of the DNA per cell changes before, during, and after a nuclear division in a diploid cell. So which row describes the type of nuclear division and the chromosome number of the daughter cells in the graph? So you can see that this may look a bit funny at first, but you just have to understand what does this happen. They say the mass of DNA per cell, initially it increases, but then later on it becomes it drops a little bit. So when the mass of DNA increases, okay, and then it drops later on, it means that initially there's this cell, then they start to duplicate the DNA material inside, for example like that. So inside there's two, then later it got mitosis to split them into two different, so it drops later again. So this is only for mitosis, where it only involves diploid cells. All right. So question 33. In a family, the two parents have blood groups of A and B, and the three children have blood groups of B, B, and O. So what are the genotypes of the parent? So they say that the two parents have blood groups of A and B, all right? And then the blood groups of their child has B, B, and O. So it means that this particular cross, right, it involves with a recessive allele O. It must have that, because otherwise how are you going to get this? So O blood group is known as the recessive one. So it means that when they tell you that there's A and B, confirm it's giving you IA-IO, IB-IO. Why is that? Because when you cross this, right, you're going to get IA-IB, IB-IO, IA-IO, and IO-IO. So you can see you're getting O here, you're going to get B here, two of it here. So you have everything inside the cross after the Punnet's cross has been done. So the answer is C. Question 34. Which statement describes a type of variation? So continuous variation is usually caused by the environment only. No, it isn't. So continuous variation results in a limited range of phenotype with no intermediates. This is also wrong. This continuous variation is usually caused by genes. Yeah, this is correct, because whatever you have and it does not change later on, like your hair color, it remains the same all the time. So this is discontinuous variation, and it usually happens through your genes that you have. This continuous variation results in a range of phenotype between two extremes. So this is wrong. So the answer is C. Question 35. The photograph shows a water lily plant, which is a hydrophyte. Okay, so which statements explain why the stomata is located on the upper surface of the leaf? So to allow carbon dioxide from the air to enter the leaf for use of photosynthesis. So this sounds correct, but let's see the other options. To allow carbon dioxide produced by photosynthesis to leave the leaf. So carbon dioxide is not produced from photosynthesis. It enters the cell to undergo photosynthesis. This is a substrate, okay, or reactant. To allow oxygen from the air to enter the leaf for use in photosynthesis. No, it's only for CO2. To allow oxygen from the water to enter the leaf for respiration. So this is also doesn't make sense because they say it's at the upper surface, not from the water. From the water, it is lower surface. So the correct answer is A. Question 36. Which term is used when human cross individuals with desirable features? So only the term with desirable is selective breeding, because you want to constantly breed that same thing that has your characteristic that you favor the most. So that is known as selective breeding. So which diagram in question 37 shows part of the nitrogen cycle? So let's see. For A, nitrogen gas in the atmosphere. So it becomes denitrification to nitrates. No, this doesn't make sense. It should be nitrification because you are forming nitrate. And nitrogen fixation, this is correct. Now you look at B. Nitrogen gas in the atmosphere undergoes nitrogen fixation to become nitrates. This is correct. And when it goes back to become a gas, it becomes denitrification. So B is for now the correct answer. But let's see for C. So nitrogen fixation from nitrate to nitrogen gases is wrong. It's supposed to be denitrification. This one is correct. So for this one, nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, denitrification, it did not become nitrate. It should be the other way around. Nitrogen fixation should also be the other way around. It's supposed to give you nitrates instead. So the answer is B. Question 38. What is the advantage of growing crops as a large-scale monoculture? Biodiversity is increased? No. Large-scale monoculture is where you breed the same type of plant. The same type, same species of plant. So genetic variation is increased? No. Genetic variation and biodiversity is very similar. The moment you see these two, it means that this is a wrong answer already. Water use is increased? No. That doesn't make sense at all. Yield of the crop is increased? Yes, because the more you grow the same one, of course, it's more easier to sell, and that increases the yield of the crops. Question 39. Yeast can produce carbon dioxide and ethanol. What can be made using these products? So, firstly, we see for carbon dioxide. Can it be made for biofuel? No. Washing powder? No. Fruit juice? No. Bread? Yes, because carbon dioxide will be released from the bread, and that's where it starts to become, it floats up. It has that sort of springy texture. Ethanol for washing powder? No. Fruit juice? No. Bread? No. Biofuel? Yes, because you use biofuel using ethanol. It's a more sustainable organic molecule to use for this instead. Now, question 40, the last question. Bacteria can be genetically modified to produce a human protein. So what is the first step in the process? So it's of course to isolate of the DNA making up the human gene. So the answer is C. Alright, so if there are any questions, feel free to answer them in the comment section below, and I will try to respond to you immediately. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Have a good day.